for this whole Preptober era of my life, this 2 months, the September and October, I wanted to share with you what I've decided are 5 things that I think are important to keep in mind when it comes to this whole thing of Preptober and NaNoWriMo, aka whatever challenge you're doing in November, between September and October. So with that, I feel like I've done a lot of prepping and prep for November, for whatever you want to call it, NaNoWriMo, so on and so forth. I technically have been planning on doing NaNoWriMo in the sense that I just want to focus on writing for a month. I want to focus on really starting my debut novel, because I like the idea of getting, practically a draft finished. I know me, there's no way I'm doing 50,000 words in 1 month. But if I even get a fraction of that, I feel like that is so much work that I wouldn't have the motivation to do, because it's crazy that people be doing that every year in November. And again, it's not like it has to be NaNoWriMo. I don't plan on signing up for the website or anything like that. I've never done it. I really don't even have an emotional attachment to NaNoWriMo. I didn't even know what NaNoWriMo actually stood for until like a couple of months ago, because I was like, that's not a word. Come to find out, it's not even, what's the, not abbreviation, and acronym. An acronym. It's, it's like 2 letters per word. But anyways, that's besides the point. National Writing Month. The point is that I won't be doing it, but I'll be doing my own thing. I really, really want to start my draft when November rolls around. So as of today, that is actually a few weeks out, like a week and a half out. And I feel like I've made a lot of progress. But voiceover Kelsey here. This is really just me delaying the inevitable. So let's get into this video, shall we? Okay, number 1. This one's kind of funny because obviously if you're watching this, you might need to hear this. But number 1, no matter how many YouTube videos you watch on writing craft, people writing their own book, tips on things you can fix, world building, character arcs, all this stuff, no matter how many YouTube videos you watch, it will not replace the time that you need to put in to write your book. You can only do so much prep. Do not feel bogged down by watching YouTube videos, because let me tell you, I'm the first person to tell you that I have watched way too much authortube/booktube easily within just these past 2 months of me prepping for November. It's an unending cycle. There is no end to the knowledge that your brain can consume. You know what I mean? Okay, it might not consume it well, but the point is that there should be a limit. There should be a point in time in which you stop watching so that you can be that person writing your novel. Secondly, no one does Preptober the same, so do not feel obligated to copy anyone or do it the same way as anyone else. You'll see tons of, maybe not this year, but prior years, you'll see tons of Preptober videos, prepping for Preptober, prepping for NaNoWriMo, prepping for Writing Challenge Month in November. Okay, you'll see tons. And all I have to say is don't feel like you have to do someone else's process to be successful. During this Preptober, I found that, like, obviously, as I just previously stated, I have watched so much YouTube, so much, just writing YouTube, okay? And I know that what I have done in my own process, my own world building, my own character profiles, my outline, my chapter outline, all that stuff, it's definitely not the same as anyone else's, and some of it, there's probably a few parts, obviously, you can find it derived from someone else's somewhere, but I know that I put in the work that I needed to feel comfortable with me starting my book. And so at some point you need to know what you need in order to start your book. So your prep is not going to look like anyone else's, and that's okay. Okay, this one might be a little weird, but determine if you're a pantser, a plantser, or a plotter, okay? And I'm sure you've heard those terms. Pantsers are people that that fly by the seat of their pants while they write. Planters are people who like to plan/plot and fly by the seat of their pants. So I guess, I don't know, they wear a belt around their pants to make sure they don't fly off. And then plotters are like me. They're people who want to plan. They want a game plan. They want to be thorough before they start writing, okay? Honestly, it might seem really dumb and kind of derivative. Like, you, okay? I've already established this. Like, no matter how much the internet tells you otherwise, no one really understands you better than you. And so just keep that in mind. Determine what kind of writer you are. Just maybe what you are, like 50% or more of you is. You may not strictly fit into any of those categories, but if you know yourself enough, you'll give yourself enough ideas and planning and whatever you need before you start your story in November. And again, that's why it kind of ties into the last point, right? You're going to do what you need to in order to start your story. Just like me, I'm sure I'm not as thorough in some sections as other people, but I'm much more thorough in other sections, and I feel like that's what I needed to feel ready to write my novel in November. Keep in mind, all the planning in the world will not result in a perfect first draft. And I mean planning or not planning. No matter what happens, no matter what you do, your first draft will never be perfect. And I know people say this, okay? But it's true. It won't be perfect. So keep that in mind. And don't feel like your Preptober, regardless of what happens during it, is going to hinder your draft. Because honestly, it's not. Because no first draft is perfect. And as long as you write one, that's kind of all that matters. So yeah. Okay, and again, this one might not be like a crazy tip or anything, but focus on what's important to you. Whether you really, really love plot, or, you love developing your characters, or you just love a really, really epic world and you want your technology or your magic system to be like the best one out there. Like, you want it to be like better than Brandon Sanderson or Sarah J. Maas. I could not think of her name for a second, but just focus on what you really, really love about writing and storytelling, and kind of let that carry you through to the end. Because I feel like as long as you really, really plan those parts that you're excited about and that really, really get you going, that's going to help you write the story in November. If you don't at least have a part of your world or your story that you're passionate about, it ain't happening. Let's be honest. It's just not happening, which is okay, and if you don't know what that passion is yet, then focus on finding it. Since I kind of started a rant about NaNoWriMo, I'll go ahead and kind of cover it here. So, long story short, tell me why I started deciding, okay, Kelsey, you're going to start your author/writing tube, okay? It's going to be great. You're going to start it during the season that everyone else starts writing, because let's be honest, I'm not unique. People love starting writing in November, and really it's just makes sense by statistic standards to start a writing tube around that time, because people are looking into Preptober, NaNoWriMo. Of course, I'm then like, Kelsey, where are all these videos that are supposed to be coming out right now? Lo and behold, to find out that, I obviously then looked into it, I Googled it and stuff, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not trying to like be weird about it or anything. I'm just not emotionally attached to NaNoWriMo whatsoever, because this year would have been my first one. Okay, so there were allegations about, I guess, NaNoWriMo has different writing groups and stuff like that, and I guess there was someone who was doing inappropriate stuff with potentially underage people. And then there was the whole thing of, I guess, NaNoWriMo came out with a statement saying that they use AI for writing and whatnot. So if you're interested, look into it. I didn't rabbit hole on it, again, because I'm not personally attached to NaNoWriMo, and I feel like if there are people who are personally attached to NaNoWriMo and I see them moving away from NaNoWriMo, that's kind of all I really need to see, in my opinion. If these people have been doing NaNoWriMo for like 15 years and stuff like that, and they aren't even really backing it up in a certain way, then I guess you can just already tell that there's some stuff going on. You know what I mean? I feel like the writing community is a pretty nice one, and if they feel some type of way about it, it's really apparent that there's probably something, not to sound super dark about it, but something sinister going on. And again, I think it's just, people were saying, it's the organization, not really the organization. Like, obviously NaNoWriMo was kind of an outlet for writers and, a way for them to gather and get together and write their manuscripts in November and stuff like that. But I think it's just individuals that were involved with NaNoWriMo. At least that's what it sounds like. But anyways, the point is I have my personal information in so many databases. Does it really need to be on NaNoWriMo's? No, it doesn't. I personally was going to do this writing attempt in November by myself without a writing community, but now I'm kind of just hoping that maybe my YouTube videos reach out to other people who are kind of just doing the same thing as me anyways. So anyways, that's me addressing that. I'm doing Preptober. I'm technically writing in November. I'm not necessarily writing for NaNoWriMo, but I'm definitely using the end of October / the beginning of November as a deadline for me personally to hold myself responsible to start writing, So yeah, that's my 2 cents. So okay, peace. Yeah, so I know this probably isn't the longest video ever or anything like that, and honestly I didn't want it to be. I just kind of wanted to get straight to the point. But yeah, those are the 5 things that I'm sure you have heard if you have watched as much YouTube as I have, but also things that I feel like as I'm doing Preptober and really prepping hard to write my story in November, have decided are really, really important to keep in mind. Important to know, important to figure out in order to have a successful Preptober so that you can write the book in November. So yeah. So I hope this helps, and if it doesn't, then I am sorry. But if you liked it, drop a thumbs up and maybe go watch one of my other videos. Okay, bye.